Welcome to RPGX. Today we're counting down our picks for the best RPGs that you should check out, and without further ado, let's dive right in. Diablo 2 Resurrected. Before we continue, I should let you know that this channel focuses on games that are available on modern platforms. So yeah, that means some of the greatest RPGs aren't here, because sadly, they were never ported to modern platforms. Anyway, in this remaster, you can relive the joy of clicking rats to death in 4K. But don't worry though, the inventory still feels like a game of Tetris, and yeah, your corpse still drops everything when you die. But hey, it's a classic for a reason. So if you played this legendary gem back in the day, welcome home. Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. Let's be real, most of you watching this aren't built for this game. If reading more than 2 sentences gives you a headache, then stop watching this. This isn't press X to win. This is spreadsheets, dice rolls, and lore dumps so dense they could snap your tiny neck. I mean, you will get clapped in the tutorial, your party will wipe because you forgot to cast mage armor, and no, Google or ChatGPT won't save you if you pick the wrong subclass 20 hours in. So yeah, this one's for grown-up nerds and basement dwellers only. Fallout, New Vegas. Yeah, it looks outdated, the gunplay is janky, the animations are stiff, and your character moves like they've got arthritis. But guess what? Real RPG players don't care, because underneath all that crust is one of the best written, most choice-driven RPGs ever made. And the game actually lets you roleplay. You can lie, manipulate, double-cross, or just nuke everyone. No hand-holding, no forced morality. So yeah, if you're here for shiny graphics and mindless action, keep it moving. But if you want an RPG with actual role-playing, this is still the king. Planescape, Torment, Enhanced Edition. Let's be honest, this game is ancient. Like, you probably played it when you still had hair, but credit where it's due. The Enhanced Edition actually did a solid job bringing it back to life without screwing it up. And sure, the combat is still trash, but no one plays this for the fighting. It's all about the story, the writing, the philosophical, what even is a soul nonsense that makes Reddit nerds cream themselves. So if you're into deep lore and dialogue that hits harder than your midlife crisis, this one's for you. OG fans? Yeah, welcome back, old man. Wasteland 3. Now, this game is like that one perfect meal, you know, not flashy, not experimental, just cooked exactly right. The combat's tight, the writing's sharp, and the pacing never overstays its welcome. Basically, everything just works. However, here's the thing, it's also kinda forgettable. Like yeah, you enjoyed every bite, but 2 weeks later, you're like, wait, did I actually finish that game? But still, if you want a solid, well-balanced, isometric tactical RPG that respects your time and delivers a damn good experience, this game definitely won't disappoint. Just don't expect lasting emotional damage. Cyberpunk 2077. We all remember when this game was launched, it's full of glitches, crashes, and T-posing NPCs doing the Macarena. But now, with all the updates and Phantom Liberty DLC, this thing has morphed into one of the greatest action RPGs of all time. I mean, the world is alive, the builds are deep, and the story, insanely good, especially with Idris Elba joining Keanu Reeves. And let's be honest, half of you only bought this game because Keanu said, "Wake the fuck up, samurai." So if you skipped it back then, now's the time. Trust me, it actually deserves the hype. Dragon's Dogma 2. Okay, let's be real, most fans still worship the first game like it cured their depression. And yeah, this one didn't blow up the formula. It's more like a remastered sequel, if that makes sense. But here's the thing, it plays smoother, looks better, and the pawn system is still weirdly addictive. And yeah, it's not perfect. And no, it won't hit you with nostalgia chills like the original, but if you treat it as a polished, better executed version of what came before, it's actually solid. So yeah, wait for a sale if you're unsure, but don't skip it. It's underrated fun. Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2. No dragons, no magic, no pretty elf baddies, just mud, steel, and historically accurate peasant drama. But don't let the lack of fantasy fool you, this is still a real RPG through and through. It's a mix of deep dialogue choices, branching quests, stat-based progression, and consequences that actually matter. And compared to the first game, it's a massive glow-up. So if you want a grounded, brutally realistic RPG where even your sword swings depend on skill, this one's for you. And if you're a fantasy RPG fan, give it a shot. You might actually learn something, like hardship and suffering. Pillars of Eternity. Now this one is a deep, lore-rich, old-school isometric RPG that throws walls of text at you like it's testing your reading comprehension. And if that sounds exhausting, yeah, because it kinda is. Not only that, but combat is everywhere and repetitive. You'll be pausing every 2 seconds, casting buffs, managing cooldowns, and wondering why that one dude always dies first. But if you're into hardcore builds, world building, and making decisions that actually matter, this one delivers. Just don't come crying when you realize this isn't casual Friday RPG, because you gotta work for your dopamine hits here. Dark Souls 3. Sure, Elden Ring gave us a massive open world to get lost in, but Dark Souls 3 proves that smaller can still mean deadlier. The world here is tighter, more focused, and every step feels deliberate. And the bosses? Absolute bangers. From towering monstrosities to lightning-fast duelists, every fight feels like a highlight reel. The combat is also peak Soulsborne. Streamlined, responsive, and just the right mix of speed and weight. No clunky nonsense, no filler. It's basically pure, concentrated suffering in the best way possible. So if you want epic boss battles without the open world wandering, then this is your jam. Dragon Age Origins. Let's be blunt, this game is ugly. Like 2009 janky face ugly. The animations are stiff, the UI feels ancient, and your character walks like they just learned how legs work. But beneath all that crust is a real RPG with deep character builds, impactful choices, and a branching story that actually responds to your actions. And also, this game lets you roleplay, not just button mash. And honestly, it deserves a full-blown remake. But until that happens, it's still 100% worth playing today. You just need to install a few mods and squint a little. Trust me, the magic's still there. Bloodborne. No, it's not as massive as Elden Ring, but size isn't everything. This game proves that. The world here is tight, interconnected, and absolutely dripping with atmosphere. Every alley, shortcut, and grotesque nightmare creature feels carefully placed to ruin your day. And if you're a true Soulsborne fan and still haven't played this, honestly, shame on you. This game alone is worth buying a PS4 or a PS5 if you want those sweet load times. The combat is fast, aggressive, and the boss fights? Pure nightmare fuel in the best way. Simply put, you don't own From Software until you've played this. Dragon Quest XI's Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition. Look, I get it. JRPGs aren't everyone's thing, especially if you're used to dragons, knights, and moral gray areas. But Dragon Quest XI isn't just any JRPG, it comes from the franchise that literally defined the genre. This is peak turn-based goodness, polished to a shine. The visuals are charming, the combat is tight, and the story. Classic hero's journey, but with enough heart to actually make you care. Plus, this definitive edition adds a ton of quality of life stuff and extra content. So even if you're not a weeb or don't want to admit you are, give this one a shot. Like a dragon, infinite wealth. Yeah, the story didn't hit as hard this time. We get it, you missed the emotional gut punches from the previous game. But let's not act like the rest of the game didn't glow up hard. The combat, way faster and smoother. The classes, way more fun. The side content, absolutely unhinged in the best way. You've got Pokemon parodies, island management, and karaoke that slaps harder than your dad's belt. Simply put, the main story's a bit softer, but everything else got turned up to 11. So if you loved the first one, this is still a must-play. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Let's be honest, OG fans of the original are some of the hardest people to please. They've been side-eyeing this remake like it personally insulted their childhood. But honestly, this game slaps. As a modern action JRPG, it's phenomenal. The combat is smooth, flashy, and actually requires brain cells. The world is massive and packed with side content, and the character interactions, top tier. Sure, it takes creative liberties, but that's the point. It's not a one-to-one remake, it's a reimagining. So unless you're still stuck in 1997, give this game a real shot. You might even end up liking it more. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Okay, let's not sugarcoat it. This game is clunky as hell. The combat feels ancient, the characters look like action figures from Temu, and the animations haven't aged well. But under all that crust is one of the greatest RPG stories ever written. It's peak Star Wars, filled with meaningful choices, deep characters, and a plot twist that hits harder than a lightsaber to the face. So, if you care about narrative-driven RPGs, this one is essential, and don't forget the sequel, KOTOR 2, is just as brilliant and it completes the narrative. So yeah, play both and thank me later.
Don't let him catch his breath! We're bigger, lads! Bigger!
The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. Now this is a game that did the impossible. It broke into the mainstream and kept the respect of hardcore RPG nerds. Usually when a game gets this popular, it gets dumbed down, but this one stayed sharp. It delivered complex characters, tough moral choices, and a world so detailed it made other open-world games look empty. And Geralt isn't just a badass with a sword, he's a fully realized character navigating politics, monsters, and chaos. And the writing, easily some of the best in gaming. So yeah, it's not just popular, it's legitimately one of the best RPGs ever made. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. This one is the new kid on the block and it's already making the veterans sweat. The story goes hard, it's surreal, emotional, and stylish without trying too hard. Every scene looks like it belongs in an art gallery that also sells antidepressants. The combat is turn-based, but with time-based parries and dodges that keep you locked in from start to finish. However, people are hyping this game so much it's starting to sound suspicious. Some even think it's a psyop cooked up by the industry. Either way, it's real, it's fire, and it might be the future of turn-based RPGs. Mass Effect 2. Alright, so the first game had more RPG elements, sure, but this is the one that turned Mass Effect into a legend. The combat's smoother, the pacing's sharper, and the characters are straight up unforgettable. Every mission feels like its own movie, and the squad is easily one of the best in any RPG. And now, with the Legendary Edition, the whole trilogy got cleaned up. No more crusty visuals or missing DLC, it's all in there ready to go. So yeah, this is peak BioWare, firing on all cylinders, and if you call yourself an RPG fan, you need to play this.
Yes! Yes!
The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. Skyrim out of the box? It's good, but modded Skyrim? Now that's a whole different beast. This game is basically a blank canvas. You don't just play it, you shape it. Want it to look like a next-gen game? Done. Want survival mechanics, new quests, anime followers, or a completely broken magic system? You can. Think of it like GTA, but for RPG fans. It's a playground for chaos, creativity, and total immersion. Simply put, the base game gives you the bones, but the mods give it a soul, and once you go down that rabbit hole, there's no coming back. Divinity, Original Sin 2, Definitive Edition. Most casual gamers have never touched this game. Hell, half of them have probably never heard of it. But in the RPG world, it's one of the most praised CRPGs ever made, with turn-based combat that's actually fun, writing that doesn't make you cringe, and choices that change everything. Not only that, but the amount of freedom here is also insane. You can kill anyone, go anywhere, and solve problems however you want. It's basically a D&D campaign with god-tier production value. So yeah, if you care about real RPGs, this isn't optional. This is required reading. Go play it. Persona 5 Royal. Let's be real, if you're watching this and have an anime profile pic, you've probably played this 5 times already. This game is peak weeb energy, and somehow, it actually pulled in Western players who usually think JRPGs are just turn-based chores with bad voice acting. But here, everything hits. The combat is fast, the characters are memorable, the music is straight heat, and the whole thing oozes style. Royal adds even more content, fixing stuff you didn't even know was broken. So yeah, even if you roll your eyes at anime nonsense, this one still goes hard. Elden Ring. Now, this is peak Soulsborne. From Software took everything they've learned over the years and stitched it into one near-perfect monster of a game. Massive open world, killer boss fights, and that classic "you died" suffering we all pretend to enjoy. And let's not ignore the fanbase. Y'all dress your characters like depressed royalty, wield a sword the size of a car, and act like you understand the lore when you absolutely don't. But hey, the vibe is strong, the combat is flawless, and the freedom is unmatched. So if you're into beautiful pain and brooding aesthetics, this is your holy grail.
Shit in the sand.
Disco Elysium, The Final Cut. Okay, this one's an old-school CRPG, but with barely any combat. No turn-based fights, no spell casting, no sword swinging. Just you, your thoughts, and enough dialogue to drown a small library. And if reading makes your brain hurt, or if your reading level peaked in elementary school, turn back now. But if you're into deep writing, broken characters, and internal monologues that argue with you mid-conversation, this game hits different. Every choice matters, every sentence pulls weight, and the world feels alive in the weirdest way. Overall, it's not flashy, but it's smart. Real smart.
Are you racist?
That should work.
Baldur's Gate 3. Now, this is the isometric CRPG that brought real RPGs back into the spotlight. It didn't just win awards, it swept them. Everyone's praising it, whether they're hardcore old-school nerds who grew up on dice rolls, or total newcomers who just found out what turn-based even means. The writing's sharp, the choices actually matter, and the amount of freedom is ridiculous. It's funny, brutal, emotional, and chaotic all at once. Basically, this isn't just a good RPG, it is the standard now. So, if you want to know what peak modern RPG looks like, it's this. Everything else is just playing catch-up. So, do you agree with our picks? Check out these other videos from us and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
How will we make you